Hello dear readers and subscribers. For most artists, creating art comes very naturally. However, selling art seems to be a lot harder, and for some it is almost impossible. In this video, we're going to discuss the top 10 proven and tested ways to sell your art. A lot has been written and said about this topic, online, on blogs, here on YouTube as well, providing a multitude of options or even making it seem like it is easy. But does it really work? How effective are these strategies? And what are the main advantages but also drawbacks of these strategies? Time to find out. The honest truth is that even if you know where and how to sell your work, selling art is hard. The statistical reality is that there is a tremendous supply of art, with millions of artists creating more than millions of artworks every single year, with just a very small amount of collectors. So the demand is very small and the supply is simply too great, resulting in the bulk of artworks remaining unsold forever. This is not the fault of the artist, it is not the fault of the collectors, it is not the fault of the art world, nor is it the fault of the strategies that are often advised to sell your work. It's simply the fact that there are more people interested in creating art than buying art. Now, if people say that selling your art is easy, I'm afraid they're making some false promises. Most likely in search of views, clicks, or perhaps money. In theory, there are 100 ways to sell your art, but in practice, only very few of them work, and even the ones that work are actually not that easy, as they all require the right knowledge, preparation, time, some money, and also a lot of commitment from the artist. So therefore, I'm very pleased to guide you through all these different ways of how to sell your art, and also based on a lot of in-field experience and also the experiences of all the artists that I have been advising over the past few years, which are over 400 now. Based on this experience and also personal tests, personal in-field experience, we can discuss and highlight all the things that really work, what you need to look out for, and also the things that you need to be aware of when going for a certain strategy. So let's start with the very first strategy. First and foremost, direct sales. This is perhaps the most obvious way to sell your art to your clients, which is directly without a dealer, venue, exhibition or platform facilitating the sale or providing the leads. Direct sales are great because you don't have to share the profits with anyone and you have direct contact with your client. The obvious downside, of course, that in order to generate these direct sales, you already need to have a certain client base, which takes time and effort. And most likely to build this client base, you'll have to do the other strategies from this list. There is no shortcut to these direct sales, despite what some other art influencers are claiming. Now, to build that client base and also that visibility and demand for your work, the next strategy is perhaps a better idea. Arguably one of the best ways to generate sales, but also art world validation and gain true career momentum, is working with art galleries. Considering their role as the direct link between the artist and the art world, galleries are the ideal business partners to sell your works. They provide an ideal setting to showcase the work, and also they improve your credibility, exposure, and overall career momentum. They sell your work during exhibitions where they create a real buzz of excitement around your work. They have excellent contacts and already a solid client base, so they can sell your work online via reputable dealer-oriented marketplaces such as Artsy, or even promote and sell your work at international art fairs, where your work is seen by all the most important individuals and entities of the art world. However, working with such a reputable art gallery is very difficult because it is so competitive. There are more artists than there are galleries to represent them, and they set very high standards and are in search of so-called art world art, a topic that we have discussed in another video about subjectivity of art and gatekeeping in the art world. Therefore, it is impossible to use this strategy for short-term results. However, when it comes to the long-term results, this is the very best strategy. It can really breach you through that ceiling of, let's say, $4,000 for a single artwork, as it can elevate the value of your work and also accumulate the demand for your work exponentially over time. Another drawback with galleries is that they also ask a 50% commission on these sales. However, this is also something we have discussed extensively in the past. This fee is actually very much justified. They take all the risks and they also take care of the hard part, which is selling the work, which is the issue and the exact reason why you are watching this video. However, simultaneously, I also want you to be aware that there are a lot of galleries who present themselves like reputable galleries, but actually are not. Instead, their business model is based on making money on behalf of the artist instead of with the artist. With a 50% commission, they make money when you make money, whereas there are some other galleries who ask for participation fees or promotion fees where you need to pay them without them delivering any sales or results. So avoid these so-called vanity art galleries, especially because short-term results are not guaranteed, and these are not the galleries to pursue that long-term strategy as well. For a very detailed and extensive take on this topic, feel free to read our article on how to get your art in an art gallery, or our 4-part video series of this article next. A third option is selling your art via self-hosted exhibitions. If you do not have a gallery to exhibit your work yet, another way to sell your work is by organizing your own shows. You can do this by renting an exhibition space, collaborating with local entities such as a library or a city hall, preferably not restaurants and bars because it presents your work as decoration and not as art, or organizing an open studio exhibition, or even by opening your own gallery or an artist-run space. The main benefit, of course, is that you do not have to sit around and wait for a gallery to contact you. You can make your own success happen. However, simultaneously, you also need to take care of all the workload that comes with it, and also take all the risks and stand in for all the costs. I also want you to be aware that organizing an exhibition is not a guarantee for sales. Some artists can really master this strategy of hosting their own exhibitions, especially after they have been doing it for a couple of years, because it takes you more than one try to get it right. And also it helps a lot if you already have a client base or previous visitors who you're able to draw back to your new shows. So we'll have to learn and improve a lot, and also make this something consistent to make it a lucrative endeavor. For more information, feel free to read our article and video on how to organize a successful art exhibition. This can be a great way towards your first sale, but also to make a good impression to the art world and to work your way up to, for instance, your first gallery exhibition. Up next, we have art festivals and fairs. In a nutshell, there are two types of art fairs. We have the international art fairs such as Art Basel and Fries, with booths by emerging and established art galleries, and on the other hand, art festivals and fairs for independent artists and smaller dealers, such as affordable art fairs or festivals such as Artisphere. The first is tremendously expensive, prestigious and exclusive. The latter is more accessible but less high-end, selling and exhibiting work in tents or even where you have to bring your own walls or booth. Especially in the United States, these art fairs for independent artists are a big thing, and some artists are making very good money with them. Short-term success is possible here. For success, pretty and decorative works of art are ideal, as the target audience is predominantly looking for something nice to decorate their homes, and some people or sales skills are required, as you will be both the artist and the salesperson promoting the work. On the other hand, you must also do all the work, the preparation, and also take care of all the costs, from participation fees to even buying your own booth. It is also very time consuming, and it does not really offer a lot of long-term perspective, because as soon as you stop doing all the traveling and all these fairs, then also the sales will stop. Even more, from all the artists that I have advised, many of them have tried this strategy, and I very often heard that they did not at these fairs. So manage your expectations, and it's very useful to ask some other artists which fairs have done well for them, but also try to ask this to a person you trust, because very often people will say they were very, very successful to keep up appearances, whereas in reality, this is not always the case. Next, we have an online web shop. Opening a webshop on your website is another popular and often advised strategy to sell your art. There is no middle person asking for a commission, besides perhaps your website builder, and the investment costs are rather limited. Potential collectors can discover and purchase your works online, and you ship them directly from your studio to its new home. In theory, this may be the very best way to sell your art. However, the first drawback is that it is not as easy as it sounds. Opening a webshop is easy, but driving traffic, potential clients to that webshop, is a lot harder. And even more, having a decent conversion rate to make this something lucrative requires even more skill and prep work. Two main strategies to drive traffic to your webshop is either by being very active on social media or by driving traffic to your site using advertisements. But before you do this, you must also make sure that your webshop is fully optimized with a high-performing website, very good content in the form of professional photographs, very good product descriptions, also a privacy policy, terms of sale, return policy, having a good website structure with natural sales funnels, putting your unique selling point very well to words, having a solid advertising strategy with a lot of A/B testing, and also having art that is very much sellable and preferably very decorative, because this will be the main target audience that you can drive to your web shop. So it is safe to say that to make this strategy work, there is a lot of homework for you to do. Furthermore, the strategy only works for the lower end of the art market, so you won't necessarily be able to breach that $4,000 mark with your artworks. You're also very isolated from the art world, as there are no real exhibitions, no real contact with your clients besides an order confirmation or perhaps an email correspondence. So this strategy might be one of the more efficient ones if you do it right. It is also one of the more transactional ones. Next, we have social media sales. Another direct online strategy is, instead of having your website as your store, you can use your social media account. Today, this would most likely be Instagram or TikTok, where your portfolio is your feed and the sale process occurs via direct messages. You drive traffic to your art by creating social media content that performs well, perhaps following the current trends and creating a lot of art and content. You could add your website or Shopify account to your social media account to streamline the sales process, or simply combine both strategies very easily and naturally. There are some downsides to the influencer model. First and foremost, that it is kind of frowned upon from the art world, so it does not offer you a lot of long-term perspective here. It is also very competitive. A lot of people are on Instagram and doing everything to get seen. The biggest downside, in my opinion, is that the art is inferior to the content creation. And also the conversion rate is really, really low. So you need a lot of volume, a lot of traffic, a lot of followers to see some sales. Another rather important downside is that social media and algorithms change all the time. So if you build this business and it finally works well, it is very likely, and we have seen this in the past with Facebook, with Instagram, it continues to happen when there are some changes to the algorithm, or a certain social media platform does no longer perform well because everybody has moved to another one, then your entire business can collapse and you'll have to make a very radical pivot or even start over again. Therefore, short-term success is unlikely, long-term success or longevity of success is also unlikely, so it is very much advised to diversify your social media strategies and perhaps simply combine this one with some other strategies on this list instead of relying on it completely. Up next, we have an indirect online selling strategy in which an online art marketplace or platform such as Saatchi, Etsy or Fine Art America acts as the mediator of your sales. The main advantage is that you do not have to set up an entire website to sell your work online, as the online marketplace takes care of hosting, payment solutions, shipping labels and more. You can simply open an account and upload your work. On the other hand, they do ask for a commission for this ease of use, ranging between 4% to 35%. However, this is not the main issue with online marketplaces. The biggest issue is that they are tremendously oversaturated, because anyone can open an account and because everyone advises artists to do this if they want to sell their work. Literally millions of artworks are available on these online marketplaces with a lot of low quality art. As a result, your art will drown in this oversupply, and this oversaturation and low standards do not make online marketplaces very appealing to collectors either. In reality, if you go for this strategy, it is very likely that you will sell nothing at all. Only artists who have been working with these platforms from the start and are also kind of being supported by those platforms because they have performed well in the past for them, hence being included in their newsletters, can see some results. However, if you're starting today, it's very unlikely. Up next, we have NFTs. NFTs, or non-fungible tokens, are unique digital assets verified using blockchain technology. With the arrival of NFTs, digital art became collectible, and in the hype, a lot of great money was made. The space of digital art is, however, still really small despite recent developments, especially when having a look at the bigger picture, as just 0.2% of the total value of the art market consists of digital art. And within this small percentage, the bulk of NFTs consists of non-art related NFTs. Although it is undeniable that artists were making good money with NFTs, and some of them still do today, the implosion at the start of 2022 does not seem to recover itself anytime soon. Furthermore, the strong presence of NFT-related scams and the high percentage of lost NFTs don't help the NFT space to enter the high-end art world, despite a couple of launches of JR, Damien Hirst, Koenig Gallery, who jumped on the bandwagon during the hype, or an NFT auction at Christie's, which in the end remained one-time events. So if you're a digital artist, then NFTs are definitely worth considering as your digital art becomes collectible. However, for artists to switch to NFTs, this sounds a bit counterproductive, especially considering the current landscape of NFTs. Up next, our second to last strategy are commissions. Custom artworks created by an artist at the request of a client. These works are typically tailored to the client's specifications, including details such as subject matter, style, size, and the medium. Commissions can range from portraits and landscapes to sculptures and digital art, depending on the artist's speciality and the client's needs, of course. For instance, if you are a portrait painter, then predominantly your commissions will be family portraits, portraits of celebrities they like, or perhaps even a portrait of their dogs. The main advantage is that the work is already sold before you start creating it. However, to find these clients, you will most likely have to use some of the strategies above. For instance, participating in art festivals, setting up a web shop with your prices depending on the size and how you usually work, or having a social media account to find potential clients and share past commissions. Yet the main drawback, in my opinion, is that you are very limited in terms of artistic creativity, your freedom as an artist. You create what the client asks. You become an executioner and not the inventor. This is fine if you simply enjoy creating, but for those who really pursue to explore their artistic intentions, then perhaps this strategy is not ideal for you. We conclude with all other art-related collaborations. Various other art-related collaborations exist in which you can sell your art in different ways. Think of working with art advisors and interior designers to sell your art for new apartments, hotels, or offices. However, this is not as easy as it sounds, and it also degrades the work very much to being just decoration. It would need to have very good contacts or be very good at networking to find these collaborations. The focus is indeed very much on producing, and the transactional character of the sale is perhaps even more impersonal. There are other options such as licensing, in which you retain ownership while granting companies permission to use your designs and their products. These can include items like clothing, home decor, or stationery and more. Licensing agreements typically provide artists with royalties based on the sales of these products, creating a passive income stream. However, especially with the arrival of AI and the abundance of designs and digital art, this is once more a rather competitive option with underwhelming results where you're less and less an artist and more an illustrator or designer. So this concludes an honest and realistic approach when it comes to selling your art as an artist. Do not despair, commit to the options that you go for, and also feel free to watch our video on 20 ways to make money as an artist, which goes beyond selling your art. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Feel free to watch last week's video discussing the top 10 figurative painters today next. Support us on Patreon and please consider subscribing to stay posted for more contemporary art. Bye.